Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Grove Cat. Now, if you're watching this right now, chances are that you're already curious about paganism. Well, maybe you've heard the word thrown around, felt a pull towards the nature-based spirituality, or just wanted to clear up the confusion. And that's exactly why we're here today. So, to explore what paganism is through a calm, grounded lens drawn from history, archaeology, and the voice of actual practitioner like me. So, there's no agenda, no judgment, just clear facts so you can decide for yourself. There you go. So, if this channel's exploration of spirituality and ancient wisdom resonate with you, please hit that subscribe button now. So let's dive in together. The word pagan itself has a surprisingly everyday origin. And once you hear it, I think you'll easily remember why it's shifted the way it did. So it comes straight from Latin, paganus, that simply means country dweller or someone from the rural village. So pagus was just their word for countryside district. So picture this. By the 4th century CE, Common Era, as Christianity spreads rapidly through the Roman Empire, the bustling cities and urban elites quickly embraced the new faith that was coming, which was Christianity. But the ones that were in the villages and farms that were further from the center of power, those people were naturally they naturally held onto older tradition for a bit longer. So the city Christians started using paganus as a casual, somewhat snarky label. Those rustic folks from still honoring the old gods. So it was less about theology at first, and was more about class or geography. So kind of like calling someone a country bumpkin or redneck in a religious term. So over time, it's stuck at it actually stuck as a broad term for anyone outside the monotheistic faith that were the Jewish, the Christian, and later the Muslims in the Mediterranean world. As you notice how words evolve with social changes, that simple shift already starts making the whole story cleaner, doesn't it? So today, when scholar refers to historical paganism, they're talking about the incredibly rich and diverse tapestry of polytheism, animistic, and nature-centered religion that flourished before monotheism and that became dominant across Europe, North Africa, and parts of the Near East. So, importantly, and you'll see why this matters, there was never one single religion, pagan religion that is. There was no single pagan religion. So there was no central book, no pope, no universal creed. Instead, it was thousands of local tradition that thrived side by side. So the Greeks honoring Zeus, Athena, Apollo, and countless others, of course. The Romans blending Jupiter, Venus, Mars with the Greek, and some local deities as well. Romans were good with that. They were actually including a lot of um, the local folklore, if you want, with their own. The Celtic people in Britain and Gaul, revering Cernunnos, Brigid, Lugh, just to name a few. It was way more than that. And the Germanic and Norse tribes were connecting with Odin, Thor, Freya. The Egyptian weaving deep reverence around Iris, Osiris, Ra, and more. So, what tied so many together? Well, basically, all of them, or most of them anyway, were polytheistic, so many gods and goddesses. And they saw divinity alive in nature, in rivers, in trees, storms, the turning seasons. They honored the ancestors, marked cycles with offerings, festivals, divination, and joyful community feasts. They weren't hidden dark rites. They actually were public, life affirming practices woven into everyday existence. And as Christianity and later Islam became state religions, especially from the 4th to 6th century, many faded or were suppressed of those polytheistic, we'll call it religion. Yet there's some traces that lived in the folklore, place names, and holidays we still celebrate today. Think of Yule, for example, that shaped Christmas traditions. Ostara, Easter, that echoes in Easter symbols. So now, fast forward to the 19th and 20th century, and notice how this revival feels almost inevitable. So, Romanticism, nationalism, and new archaeological discoveries, and the 1960s counterculture actually, all sparked fresh interest in those pre Christian roots. Scholars draw a clear line here, one that you'll find helpful to hold in mind. So, historical paganism is the original, mostly instinct religion of antiquities. So that's what is historical paganism. Now, what is modern paganism? Neopaganism, depending on how you want to call it. It's a vibrant new religion movement that is inspired by those ancient but thoughtfully created or revived in our time. Now, I'll give you an example here. So, today, the largest branch that you will have of modern paganism, it would be the Wicca. The Wicca that was founded in 1940, 50 by Gerald Gardner in England, was centered on a god and goddess, magic, the wheel of the year, and often some covens that initiate people into the Wicca. You also have Druidry, that is modern revival of, like for example, the Order of Bard, Ovate, and Druids, which I'm part of, and that is drawing its inspiration from the ancient Celtic Druids. Even though so little was written down, a lot was passed orally through memory. So you also have Heathenry, that is basically the reconstruction of Norse and Germanic path. So they honoring Odin, Thor, and the old ways. Hellenism, that also is a revival of the ancient Greek religion. And there's eclectic paganism, which is a beautiful blend, really, from many traditions that is guided by personal intuition. So people are looking at um, different branches, if you want, and they draw a few things that they like in each of them to create their own, kind of, if you want it that way. So most modern pagans are polytheistic or duotheistic. They hold nature as sacred. They celebrate the 8th festival of the wheel of the year: Samhain, Yule, Imbolc, Ostara, Beltane, Litha, Lunasa, Mabon. Those are they're incorporated in some of ritual or magic, depending on which one it is. And here's a key point that will, I think, settles in clearly once you hear it. So modern paganism isn't claiming an unbroken secret lineage from ancient time. Historians widely agree the old ways were largely lost, and today's practices are creative, informed revival rooted in history, folklore, archaeology, and deep personal spirituality. So, okay, now, this being said, I think it's time to um, show exactly what do modern pagans actually share at the core. Okay, so there's always differences for everybody, but at the core, you have the reverence for nature. So the earth and its cycles aren't just background, they're sacred. And many describe their path as earth centered or true nature religion. So that's what it is. So another thing that is shared is most are polytheistic or animistic. So you have many gods, goddesses, or spirits that are alive in everything. So some view all deities as facets of one greater divine. So you have really a lot of connections with monotheistic religion in the sense that there's one greater divine, and but different tiny gods, if you want, in between. So the ethic of harm none. This is a guiding principle, like for example, the Wicca in in what they're saying is basically, and it harm none, do what ye will. So it's really a personal um, responsibility and kindness of heart. That's really core to most, if not all, um, pagans, modern pagans, that is. So paganism doesn't seek converts. So that's one thing that we don't seek converts. We don't try to change people, change the religion of people, because it's a deeply personal and actually refreshingly non dogmatic path that we are on. Most also have rituals and magic, so spell work, divination, meditation. Usually, those are the focus on empowerment, healing, and positive changes. Now let's also gently clear away some of the, I would say, common misconceptions, because once these myths dissolves, the real picture shines through. So I have a few myths and facts here. So the myth: pagans worship the devil or are satanic. Well, actually, Satan belongs to Abrahamic traditions, and most pagans don't even believe in that figure. So, no, we're not. Another myth: paganism means black magic, curses, or sacrifice. Facts: modern pagan overwhelmingly embrace harm none ethic. So, historical animals offering existed in many ancient faiths, including early Judaism, but today they're rare, symbolic, or absent. Myth: all pagans are Wiccans. Well, Wicca, the fact here, Wicca is just one beautiful path among many. Plenty are solitary or follow other traditions. Myth: paganism is anti Christian or inherently evil. Facts: it's simply a different way of connecting spirituality. Many pagans come from Christian background and hold respect for all sincere path. And yes, paganism is one of the fastest growing spiritual movement in the West right now, with estimates ranging from hundreds of thousands to well over a million practitioners worldwide. And some recent figures suggesting even higher in some places like the US, for example. And at its essence, paganism, would it be ancient and modern, is about reconnection to the living earth, to life natural cycles, to the divine in its many forms, and to one another. So it's not about being better than other paths, it's just different. And in a world where we can all feel so disconnected, that deep reverence for the living world has wisdom that we can all appreciate, I think. So, if any part of this um, overview, I'd say, because it's a very, very, very brushed overview, um, that sparks something for you, maybe a new understanding, a question, or just curiosity, drop it in the comment below. I read it, and I'll answer to the best of my knowledge. And so give it a thumbs up, and if it helps clear anything, share it with somebody that might need that clearing up. And of course, subscribe if you want to catch the next video. So, thanks for being here. Blessed be, and or whatever greetings feels right for you. And we'll see you in the next video. Take care.